Hello there, everyone, and welcome to GamePoints episode 269. Your
Our weekly little get
our
together to
weekly
talk
little
about
get
recent gaming
together
news.
where we talk about recent gaming news.
Nailed it.
Oh man,
First
nailed
take.
it. I'm as always your host, Stephen Brown. Joining me today is
I'm David.
tonight, David. We have to go into detail about Hasan Karam, or Karaman rather, Hideo Kojima, and the dangers of hype. I want everyone here to know out the gate that this is not necessarily going to be a is Kojima involved about this blue box game hypeathon or anything like that. I need to set the table, so I'm going to go through all the details to kind of get you where we're at. And then I want to get into what is potentially going to be the fallout from all of this, and we'll see. But I don't see it ending well either way. And we'll get into that as well as a couple other bits of news that we need to round out the week with as well. But first, I want everyone here watching to know that this is an audience interactive podcast. So if you're watching live here at Twitch TV/GamePoints or later over at YouTube.com/GamePointsPC, please feel free to join the conversation with other questions, comments, concerns, etc. you might have. Just try to keep them germane to the conversation. Hello there, Mike No Play. No cut number one. This show is done always in one take with rare exception. I want people to see
when
how
we don't hit the
incompetent I
record
am.
button. That's when we have to
Or
redo
someone's
it.
mic is muted. But I want people to see how incompetent I am. In fact, I'm a big supporter of the demystification of the person behind the microphone because far too many people out there have a cult of personality about them, and when they are wrong, people refuse to believe it. So I want people to see how incompetent I am constantly.
Okay, cool. Sounds fun.
It's not that hard to do. David, what have you been playing before we get into this news? Because this is going to take a while, and I kind of want to I want something to kind of start on a positive foot, because I don't know if this is necessarily going to be a positive or a negative story, depending on how we go with it throughout as it goes on. But it is going to be long either way.
This is a rare occasion where I actually have something that I've been doing that's not something that you probably expected.
All right.
I have found a new roguelike that's taken up all my time.
Oh, what is this?
Children of Morta.
That game is amazing.
It was so damn good.
11-Bit Studios was kind enough to provide the show with the code for it when it first came out. We streamed it. You can go back on the old VODs and take a look at that. Or I think there's even a link on YouTube page. That game is just gorgeous and plays exceedingly well. The gameplay in that game is amazing.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I've just been crushing that game.
Yeah, Children of Morta is good. The narrator is excellent. He does not overstay his welcome, unlike some other games by a mutant. I'm looking in your direction.
Oof.
But yeah, no, 11-Bit Studios did really, really good at that game. Children of Morta is amazing. I full-heartedly recommend it.
Anyway, that game's great. I like it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder. I just really
It's just reminding everybody that when he mentions that the show has a code, he means he has a code.
Means I have a code.
Wait.
Yes.
I get games the regular way.
Yeah, he steals them.
I wait for them to be on Game Pass.
Yeah, he waits for them to be on Game Pass and then goes from there, or wait for a 75% still. Anyways, I'm babbling at this point. Let's go ahead and get right into what is clearly the biggest story that happened last week, and this is the whole Blue Box Games, Hasan Kahraman, Hideo Kojima, is this or is this not Silent Hill game that is known as currently abandoned? So,
oh boy, abandon all hope.
Before we get into this, before we get into the part that I really want to get into, I need to take a significant amount of time to set the table appropriately on this topic, because I think it is important to go over what has happened over the past week leading up to the events that happened over the past 24 hours.
Okay.
Of course,
let's settle in.
Links will be provided in the description down below or over on the Discord channel. Most of this information gathered came from a site called PlayStationLifestyle.net. You can go take a look at them, and I will have that link posted. But there'll also be links to Blue Box Games directly, a video from Hasan Kahraman directly as well, and other links to the stories as we go on. But I just want everyone to know you can look at this up on your own. I will also give the warning that some of this gets conspiratorial. Some of this actually seems a little too good to be true. And some of this is... you'll get why people think the way they do, I think, if I set this up correctly. Anyways, going to the PlayStationLifestyle.net article, reading from roughly the top, I will be editing down. All of this started on April 7th, 2021, when an article appeared on the PlayStation blog revealing a teaser for an upcoming first-person survival horror PlayStation 5 exclusive called Abandoned. The post was by Hasan Kahraman, the game director at Blue Box Studios. Now, if you go and take a look at this trailer, David, is for Abandoned, it looks somewhat sub-quality. And I don't mean that to be a dick, but when you see a game get a position on PlayStation blog, it's going to be a big PS5 exclusive. Survival horror, PlayStation seem to be putting a little bit more weight behind announcing this than they normally would a standard indie game. You would expect a higher level of production quality from the trailer. Instead, the voiceover sounds kind of stilted. It really seemed almost fan-based. Mike No Play in chat says it looked like a game made of generic assets without offense to a trailer. Yeah, it looked like a lot of Stark.
Like that's just looks like using regular old off-the-shelf stuff.
Yeah, it looked a lot like stock footage, which is not something you would expect from a first.
Because it's also a lot of stills, like animated environments, but it was very much. Remember the 6, 7, 9 hours, whatever it was, before they showed the Horizon's Forbidden West trailer, where they're just showing locations. That's kind of what this trailer looks like. They're just showing locations.
Yeah,
so for all the locations are in the woods, and they're more or less the same exact place.
Even then, those trailers had a certain level of production to them. Those behind-the-scenes stuff that this did not have. It just seemed out of place for a trailer that is being pushed so heavily by Sony, specifically. Just something wasn't adding up in people's minds, and I get that. I totally get that, because I actually do agree with that point.
So, I have a little bit of an alternate take.
Okay.
Because everyone's saying that this game has been pushed and pushed and pushed. I had legitimately heard fuck all about this until about 2 days ago.
Okay.
When all of this hit the fever pitch. I had never heard of this game. I'd never heard of Blue Box. It meant absolutely nothing to me until everybody got all tinfoil hat on it.
That is the majority position on this. But even then, you started kind of having the tinfoil hat crowd coming out going, wait a minute, horror game. We don't know who any of these people are. PlayStation exclusive. And
gotta be Silent Hill.
They take with it and run with it. But we'll get more into the nitty-gritty on that later as we go on. Back to the article.
Let's go.
A couple months later, Blue Box Game Studios revealed that Abandoned would get its own PlayStation 5 app, which would let players run the game's trailers in real time on the PlayStation 5. This is a curiously specific thing that's not even first-party PlayStation Studio games have done, so it raised some eyebrows that this unknown game studio would be the first to pioneer this feature. David, that is extremely unusual.
That's fucking awesome, and I am going to head and just call that entrepreneurship. That is being clever.
Yes,
hey, you guys want to see an in-engine demo of our video game? Because we don't have the game ready, but we're going to give you this thing. Remember Half-Life Lost Coast?
That's not what this is, though. This is something that's just... This isn't something that you can compare to something else. This is something that just hasn't been done on the PlayStation ecosystem yet, period.
Fair. But the PS5 is much more like a PC than any previous PlayStation has ever been.
Yes, and if it was a PC, this wouldn't raise eyebrows. But you still need special permission from Sony to do something like this.
I understand that. But I'm just making my argument, you're making yours.
Yes. And I don't even know if I believe anything.
While it is unusual and new, I don't think it's as big a deal as everyone's making it.
Okay, but at this point, I'm also not on like the bandwagon either of where this is leading up to. But this just adds fuel to the fire. It's like how many grains of sand make a heap, right? Well, you don't know. You just know it when you see it. This is another grain of sand on the heap of what is eventually going to become this out-of-control PR train.
All right, let's keep on cruising.
Keep on going. The app was first announced for release on June 20th. They're supposed to be released on the 22nd, which is today as we're filming this. Now that has been pushed to Friday. What really got the buzz going is that originally the 20th was on a Sunday. The 22nd was actually on a Tuesday when the PlayStation Store releases new games. That is such a tangential connection that I don't think is relevant to here, but it is something that people were showing as evidence as, oh, this has to be some kind of game thing. This is going to be like a big thing. Sony wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't on Tuesday, essentially like that. I don't believe what they're saying. I'm just giving you the mentality of the hype train starting to leave its box.
Or they're a small studio and they're bad with dates.
This is when
things are supposed to come out on Tuesdays.
This is when shit starts getting a little bit more fever pitchery, because at this point, people are starting to guess, and by people I mean a very small crowd on the internet, but these are the people who see three sticks on a picture on Sony and assume that's Hideo Kojima once again working on PT, because this rumor will not fucking go away.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone wants it to be true. Blue Box Games posted a tweet indicating that Abandon wasn't going to be the name of the game. It's actually just a code name, and they teased the game starting with S and ending with L.
Like the word survival.
Or Silent Hill.
Okay.
And people ran with it. They're going, oh my god, this is Silent Hill, ignoring the fact that the Kojima remake was Silent Hills with an S. Mm-hmm. But let's not get that way of a good conspiracy theory. Now, to their credit, Blue Box Games did come out and say, hey, this isn't Silent Hill soon after. But their problem was they also kind of did like the wink and the nod that like, no, we have nothing to do with Kojima. For example, we have flaming wells in our games or something like that, a reference to the Phantom Pain shit.
Wait. I'm sorry. No. You are misquoting, because the leaning into and talking about flaming whales is from the old Phantom Pain project fake studio.
Yes, they were making a reference to that studio.
But that's not exactly what they said.
Blue Box was making a reference.
I don't want to get things confused.
Fair enough. Blue Box was making a reference to the flaming wells from the other fake studio from Kojima. And if you go through their like tweet history, you see a bunch of like cute little winks and nods. I do think
free publicity is free publicity.
Yes, but now Blue Box is starting to feed into the machine themselves, is the point that I am trying to make. Because the fake studio that was for the Phantom Pain with the Joachim Mergen or whatever his name was, also came out and said, we have nothing to do with Hideo Kojima. We have nothing to do with Metal Gear. This is all fake. Moby Dick Games was the name of that studio. Thank you, Mike No Play. So you already have Kojima, who has a history of creating this fake shit. And this fake shit will say, we have no connection to Hideo Kojima. Right? Now you have the studio, which may or may not be involved with Kojima, which is now saying the same. They say, no, we're not involved with Kojima, but you can you believe that or not? Because precedent has been set where the Kojima Con will deny that it's a Kojima Con. This, of course, causes a Streisand effect at this point. And it goes from a few hundred people seeing connections where there might not be any to suddenly the entire internet starts digging hard on this. And they start coming up with some wild shit, some of it purely speculative. Some of it, I think, is too much. There's too much smoke for there not to be fire. And we'll get into a lot of that as it goes on. A whole bunch of other info started dropping. One, the PlayStation Studios logo and the Blue Box logo just look like inverted images of each other. Same font, for example. Same geographical shape, size, roughly. They're not really negative mirror images, but they're close enough. Hasan Kahraman and Hideo Kojima both have the same initials. Blue Box Games says they're a support studio, but they have no history or people they can find despite claiming to have been in the industry for years. This is the same MO that Moby Dick Studios had. The only employee of this name of the studio, which apparently has 20 people in it, is Hasan Kahraman. No one else is coming out to say they work for the studio. The only games that can be attached to Blue Box Games are very few and far between that no one can find or play anymore. And all these games only had about 5 downloads each, which lends credits to the idea that this might be a fake profile history that was set up. Hasan Kahraman's profile app shows that they made a bunch of cheap asset flips games. Once again, games that you really can't find anymore that have been taken out and only had a few downloads, except for one non-game that was called a personal training program. So, of course, everyone, oh my god, PT, there's the connection there. The founding date of Blue Box is exactly 1 year after the launch of PT. Kahraman is of Turkish descent, and if you type in the name Hideo in a Japanese-Turkish translator, you get Kahraman. That by far is like extremely. I don't know how to take that one. That was, I thought, the clear connection that this has to be some kind of Kojima Con until yesterday, when we'll get to that point. But I mean, come on, man! You type in Hideo in a Japanese-Turkish translator, and it translates into Kahraman.
Cool.
And Kojima loves to fuck around with his name into things. For example, the previous developer at Moby Dick Game Studios was an anagram of Kojima.
Mm-hmm.
So this all syncs up with shit that Kojima has done before, right?
Are you actually asking me? Sure.
Yeah, I am actually asking you. I know you hate this. I know that you cannot stand this crap.
It's just so stupid. doesn't. None of this fucking matters. None of it matters. It's all completely irrelevant. Until you show a video game and give me a date, it's fucking bullshit, and I don't care.
The Death Standing director's cut trailer that they showed at Summer Games Fest.
That was Metal Geary, and then he got into a box. That was
Metal
cheeky.
Geary, and he got into the box.
That was funny. That was a funny announcement for the PS5 version of Death Stranding.
Yeah, wearing a blue suit, so thus blue box games. People started talking on that, but I want to focus more on the fact is that on Sam's back or shoulder, I can't remember which, was a Dutch flag. Blue Box Studios is a Dutch developer.
Jesus Christ.
And Mike No Play says it best, though. These are mostly coincidences, but there are coincidences that are even the most stupid can fit. I get that. But after a while, once again, how many grains of sand make a heap? We have that term where there's smoke, there's a fire for a reason. So at this point, I don't blame the internet for running wild with this. It got to the point where even people like Jason Schreier was saying, like, yeah, I think this is a Kojima hoax. So you even had people who are in positions to know what's going on and have seen stuff like this before saying, yeah, there's too many coincidences here for this not to pan out. More shit that was going on. Despite having zero presence elsewhere, Kahraman has a verified PSN account, which is something that a lot of developers don't even get. It's reserved for like the top of the top developers. And he has been playing games on that account that do not exist. Specifically one called Demon Blood, which has a connection to Siren Head, which in turn has a connection to Junji Ito, who himself said that he is working on a horror game with Hideo Kojima. Once again, all of this shit being coincidental, but this is all stuff we have seen before when it comes to the Kojima hoax. Every bit of it. This is right up his alley.
It's a shtick.
It is. This is something that, like, if someone would come up to you and go, this for sure is Hideo Kojima, you would believe it at this point. You'd be like, yeah, this is a song and dance that he does.
I mean, I wouldn't. Because I don't need to get into it. I don't need to bitch anymore. Let's just keep going. Keep going. Let's go.
Really, you would after all of this, you wouldn't even entertain the fact that, because you have the knowledge of hindsight on what happened over the past 24 hours.
Yeah.
You weren't thinking on Friday that this was a Kojima thing going down when Jason
on Friday
Schreier...
I wasn't thinking about this at all.
Okay, so you didn't find out about this until what happened like yesterday, right?
Yeah, like I said, I'd never heard of this fucking company. I'd never heard of this video game. I don't care.
That explains a little bit of your dismissal of it, because you had big industry names even saying, yeah, this looks like this is...
Yeah, I haven't been hanging on this by every thread since the middle of April.
Fair enough.
Because nothing's been announced. Besides, the only thing that's actually been announced is an indie horror game that's a PS5 exclusive. You know what I'm never going to play? A PS5 exclusive indie horror game. Like, as you go through that list of words, I get further and further away from playing it.
Fair enough. I guess that's like when I hear open world, roguelike, deck builder, stealth survival game. Like, the more adjectives you start adding onto it, the less
See, and those, I'll be all for. Give me all your adjectives, but I don't have a PS5, and I don't play horror games, so what are you going to do?
You start getting into some really wild stuff, but at this point now, everyone is looking for connections. This has hit fever pitch. People who, like I said, people in the industry who would know are now saying this looks like it's going to be a Kojima thing. We don't know exactly what it is, but this has all the hallmarks of it. Mm-hmm. Jason Schreier himself 100% said, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what it is. And we'll get to his walking away from that later on. But you start getting the weird links, like PSN account links to a YouTube channel called 2727 rather. Silent Hills was canceled publicly on April 27th. That is a tenuous connection at best, but it's all fuel that adds to the fire. His PSN account, Sneaky Warrior, has 1,238 trophies on it. That's a number that was used in the Silent Hill 4 commercial over and over again. Redditors noticed that the trailer, when there was like some graffiti that said "kill the trespassers" written on it, the tree was blocking out specifically the P and the T, as in that was like a abandoned or canceled thing. This gets to the point where we have to discuss that the human brain is extremely good at recognizing patterns.
Yep, that's what we're for.
Even if there are no patterns to be seen. We are extremely good at making connections and leaps. It's the entire premise of that movie was the Jim Carrey movie, the number 42 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the, if you look for something, you'll constantly find it.
Yeah, because the brain is really good at looking at patterns. And now at this point, you're getting all kinds of shit.
Kind of like if you buy a new red car, you'll see nothing but red cars everywhere.
Yes, exactly. I want to get more into a little bit of the
meteor
bits. So, for example, 2016, Kojima Productions announced it was going to open a small satellite studio in the Netherlands, in the exact same place that Blue Box was apparently going to be opening up.
Which, thank you, chat, for calling out. We just weren't there yet.
Yes. Jeff Keighley, who we all know is Hideo Kojima's partner in crime and all this shit, suddenly received a whole bunch of DMs from Hasan. Remember, this is a developer no one has even seen at this point. No one has been able to interview him. But it was Keighley specifically that said, yes, I will help you reveal the game in the coming months. Well, if there's going to be an industry person who reveals a fucking Kojima game, who is it going to be other than Jeff Keighley?
For sure.
Then, on Monday, as the internet was like, oh my god, this is going to happen, it's 100% confirmed, I started kind of getting this sinking pit in my stomach around Sunday or so, to where I'm like, man, if this isn't a Kojima game, we're going to witness a live execution. Because the internet is going to... Go ahead.
I was waiting until we were closer to done to bring that up, but we can just talk about it now. If, at this point, this is not a Kojima project, this game is completely, utterly, it's fucked.
Yeah. And
if it is not Kojima, this game will sell negative units.
Yeah, I started thinking about that on Sunday. And
the building will be burned down.
Yeah. I started thinking on that on Sunday night. And I was like, what if this isn't it? What if it's just some poor son of a bitch who thought he'd lean a little bit into things and just got carried away?
Yep.
And then Monday
if it's legitimately an indie studio, it's putting together a horror title, they got lucky and got a studio grant from PlayStation through like an indie project, and they're putting this game out and they're doing their thing, and they just kind of leaned into some of this internet shit. They are destroyed.
They
Not only
created
will the game
a monster
fail,
beyond
this
their control.
studio will shudder.
Yeah. Then Monday hit. And this is when I went, oh man. Because there was a video posted on the Blue Box Studios account on Twitter that actually showed Hasan Kahraman for the first time. And he gives like a quick 30-second thing saying, I am not an actor. I am not working for Kojima. This is not Silent Hill. I cannot get into more details, but you will have it soon. And you can, like, in my opinion, hear panic in his voice, where he's like, please, for the love of God, dial back your expectations.
It really did feel like that, right?
Yeah. Here's where the problem is. Hideo Kojima's fake director, Joachim Morgan, the guy that was running Moby Dick Studios,
it was covered in bandages and looked like a fake person in the get-go.
Did the same song and dance, though. Yes, he was covered in bandages. Yes, it was a little bit clear at that point that was fake from the get-go. But this was exacerbated by Schreier.
Yes.
Schreier was able to get an interview with Kahraman.
All right, I'm going to steal this interview from you because you've been talking for like 30 minutes.
I've been talking for about 20 minutes, yeah. I do want to mention, though, before we get into that Schreier was all on board with this being the Kojima hoax until this interview came out. Now he's like, I don't fucking know what to believe.
Yeah. So there is the article. I think you could technically read it on Bloomberg if you have Bloomberg, or I don't know if they have a paywall or what. Anyway, so in an hour-long interview, Kahraman attempted to demystify several of the assertions underlying the conspiracy to Schreier. His game has no connection to Kojima. His studio consists of a network of friends. He is a trained game developer, not an actor, he said. A piece of new evidence supports that last point. Kahraman has regularly posted for the last 3 months on a forum for Unreal Engine game developers, answering questions and responding to others, according to screenshots shared with Bloomberg by a game developer unrelated to any of this, who asked not to be identified because the forum is private for game devs. Speaking with a Dutch accent, Kahraman said Abandon has been in development since 2017, although the concept was changed a lot of times. He said the Blue Box team consists of 10 people and that he has outsourced work to several other studios, which accounted for the 50-person figure he had mentioned earlier. He said he'd attracted the attention of Sony in 2015 following their failed Kickstarter. And I don't know if we covered that earlier, but they did have a Kickstarter for a video game that made like $200.
Yeah, there was a Kickstarter for something there. That is one of the bits of evidence that work against this.
Yes, because this Kickstarter is 6 years old. And when that Kickstarter ended, they said they received private funding. Never said who. Now they have a partnership with Sony. Wonder how that worked. Back to the article. But the conversation raised many more questions. Kahraman would not make other members of the team available for interviews and would only identify one who did not respond to a request for comment. Kahraman said he had signed a contract with Sony but would not offer specifics. He also said the game was funded by investors but would not say who. Kahraman named 2 of the 6 or 7 outsourcing companies that he said Blue Box is working with, Noir Studios and Decagon Studios. Representatives for both companies declined to comment.
Okay, let me pause you real quick here. This is just... I get what... This is where I start feeling really bad for Kahraman. Because he is likely... Even if this wasn't a hoax, he still couldn't come out and say, this is what I'm working with, these are the investors I have, this is blah, 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 blah. Because he is under contractual obligation not to reveal shit.
Yeah, if he's got any amount of like NDAs or stuff where it's like, no, you sign a line until your game comes out, you can't do it, or they're working with Sony's marketing team, and so they're locked in. And it's like, no, this is when you get your reveal. This is when you do this. This is when we get
I mean, I've had to sign some of these NDAs before. I have NDAs that I'm locked in for life that I can't even tell you what date I have seen shit on.
Yeah.
So they get really in depth.
Really tie your hands. So it's entirely possible. It's not without the realm of possibility that this is actually an indie dev who leaned into some stuff, and now he's completely screwed.
Completely fucked.
That being said, it's almost equally likely that this is just another Kojima hoax, and it's going to be some, Kojima branded horror game.
And
which would make people very excited, and he would probably sell gangbusters.
Schreier doesn't necessarily do Kahraman any favors with this interview because, one, it does pose the question of like, hey, I've got a bunch of questions and you can't answer any of them.
Yes.
And then he also throws out the idea, Schreier himself said, is Kahraman a real indie developer? Almost certainly. But I was left wondering who else works at a studios, what kind of contract he signed with Sony, and who his mysterious funders are, and how a little-known studio plans to make a game with realistic graphics at 40K, 60 FPS.
4K.
4K.
I'm going to go with
40K,
Unreal Engine 5.
That brings us where we're at today, David. And there's only 3 possibilities this is going to end, and none of them end well.
No.
First off, let's just say this man has nothing to do with Kojima. I wasn't kidding when I say we're going to watch a live execution of a man unfold on Twitter.
Yes, if this is not Kojima, if this has nothing to do with Kojima, this man in studio are done in the industry.
Yes. And it's not even necessarily his fault.
Nope. It's because the internet has gotten too excited.
Yeah.
And if it does not deliver, it's just absolute chaos. It'll be the week after No Man's Sky, except for
amplified by nth degree. I feel if he has nothing to do with Kojima, I feel so fucking bad for this man. The Schreier interview, I can understand how that was supposed to clear things up, but Schreier still gives it's not a definitive thing, and he even questions how the studio is going to pull off realistic graphics at 4K 60 FPS without asking the question, maybe they just suck as a dev team and they're over-promising on that.
Yeah.
Because if you go back through all the connections...
Maybe it's actually a 4K/60. Like it runs at 4K at 30 or 1080 60, which is how a lot of the games work.
The history that we've been able to find from Blue Box, as little as it is, has been a history of asset flips.
Yes.
These aren't... I don't want to judge a studio that I have not experienced personally by its cover, but generally when you hear of a studio that do nothing but asset flips, they are not usually the most reputable of companies.
Yes, that is correct. Now, being said, if he had a really good game idea and Sony approached him and they had a partnership way back when and he was given funding and he was given a team and something else, then maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he mentioned he's got outsourcing companies that are working on it. Maybe one of
who
them's
he
a
can't
Sony
mention.
studio. Maybe one of
But
them's a Sony studio.
and I get why he can't mention it. He might be under NDA. He's like, I can't say shit until a certain date, and that date has been pushed back days. It was supposed to be today. So that's one. He has nothing to do with this, and it's going to be the digital equivalent of when those people rushed the state. I think it was in Brazil when those people rushed the stadium and beheaded the referee. It's going to be the digital equivalent of that, and I feel real bad for this guy, which leads more credence to why members of a studio aren't coming out to back him up. Because fucked if I'm putting my ass out there,
Right? I want to get a job after this.
Option 2 of the 3 is that this is a Kojima hoax, but
Yes.
it's not Silent Hill. It's something else entirely different. Doesn't matter. That game's already damaged too. The hype for this game is so fucking out of control that anything but what was promised is going to be seen as lesser than or what could have been as opposed to what should be.
Yes, if this is not the licensed, Konami decided to let it go, and we get a Sony Kojima Silent Hill game, and I don't know, Norman Reedus is in it or whatever.
Yeah. So that's option 2. The net result is the game is still suffering from the hype.
But that one will fare still all right.
Better. Let's say it's option
And then
3.
finally, we get the third option, in that it is a Kojima hoax, and this is a new Silent Hill game.
Which is backed up a little bit more by the fact that Konami is really pushing the Silent Hill merchandise all of a sudden since this has become a thing.
Did you see the skateboard?
Yeah, I did. Fuck them.
It looks great.
So I think this, once again, another coincidence that Konami just went, hey, Silent Hill's trending. Let's get on this cash cow and put some merch that we have for a game series we haven't talked about in years.
That, for them, entirely on brand. What the hell?
That's 100% on brand for them. But let's say it is the Kojima Silent Hill game that the internet has been clamoring for. Then we all know that Sony put this poor son of a bitch up to give out an emotional plea. Let's say that means he has to be an actor.
Yes.
That means Sony marketing put in a man that was meant to emotionally tug at your heartstrings to go, oh shit, this guy could be killed.
He's an actual indie dev that's been paid to do this.
Yeah. That means Sony is emotionally manipulating people and lying to them for the sake of promotion. There's a difference between a guy coming out all bandaged up saying, no, I have no idea what's going on, and clearly being absurd, and then putting some of bitch coming out more or less just pleading, please understand this is not what you think it is. Because we know what the internet does to people.
Yep.
Like, we are watching a man with the sword of Damocles hanging over his head, and there's nothing we can do about it. And if that's a fucking marketing ploy, Sony can go fuck itself hard.
Yeah,
Because,
as bad as
goddamn.
all these options are, I still kind of hope it's the second one. I hope that it is Kojima and it's not Silent Hill.
Either way.
And that it's something else. Like,
all
I
of
feel like
this-
that's the least, I don't know, hurtful, impactful.
There is one problem with just all of this, and all of this would be solved if it wasn't for the unmitigated hype machine that we have railed about, or me specifically, for a few months now, because I am tired of seeing this shit out of control. Because
We've been mad about hype since Anthem. We've been mad about hype since Snowman. We've been mad about hype since flipping everything. Andromeda.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's one of
Like
those
we've
things
been
where
saying don't pre-order for years and years at this point, and a lot of that is because things get
Cyberpunk sold 13 million copies.
things get way out of hand. People get so fucking excited to the point where you'll have people like threatening other person's family and well-being because they don't like a thing that
And this
doesn't
is where-
actively exist.
This is where part of me hopes that these companies aren't that cynical, but I know they are. If this is not a Kojima hoax, if this is actually a man who went, oh shit, I fucked up and need to calm it down, then Hideo Kojima and Sony both should have come out and went, hey, this is not a fucking thing. This does not exist.
Yeah.
And they have both remained silent on it.
Yes, which again leads credence to the rumor that it is a Kojima project. But if it's not, then yeah, they're both kind of assholes because they could have just come out and said, "Hey, they're not working on a Silent Hill game."
Yeah, they could have. You come out and go, "This is 100% not true." They should have. If this is bullshit, they should, because it is not a stretch to say that if this is not a Kojima hoax, it is not a stretch to say that this man's life is genuinely in danger.
Yeah, and Jim's not doing anything anyway. He can write a fucking press release.
Yeah. So that's one of those things where the fact that statement hasn't been made, to me, means one of two things. One, that it is a hoax, or two, Sony is such a callous fucking company that they're throwing this developer under the bus.
Yep.
And I can believe both of them.
Oh man, we've talked about the Sony hubris, but we haven't talked about the callousness. That's a fun new twist in the game.
When Friday hits and we get some more info on this, this is going to be one of those things. If it turns out that Sony just refused to take action on this, I will fucking. If you don't think that I'm not going to rant on Sony specifically next week, if that turns out to be what happened here, that's just like the more I'm thinking about it, the more pissed off I'm getting that Sony hasn't actually. If this, like seriously, this man's life could be in danger because people on the internet are that fucking insane. Anyways, I'm getting myself like hyped over.
You're getting hyped against hype.
Against hype right now, so I need to kind of calm it down.
Okay, let's fast forward to Friday. So you wake up.
Okay.
And you turn on your fancy PlayStation machine, and you download the Abandon app. And it's fucking PT2.
Okay.
Where do your emotions go?
This was a PR stunt that just went too far.
Yeah.
And this wouldn't be the first time a PR stunt's gone too far. For example, I remember when Homefront released that Red Dawn, like North Korea invades America, kind of similar. They released a whole bunch of balloons for Homefront, and they all landed in San Francisco Bay, creating an environmental disaster. Mm-hmm. Or that time when, and I know the PR agent who did this, when she sent out as a promotional gift for Mafia, brass knuckles to various games journalists across America, not realizing that is an illegal weapon.
Yes.
And those were real brass knuckles.
Classic.
Or the Dante's Inferno, they were doing various events where they would be like celebrating each of the deadly sins. So what happened is they sent out actual $500 checks to the game reviewers who were reviewing their game for greed.
Can't do that.
So it's this wouldn't be the first time a PR stunt has gone wrong, but this by far would be one of the more like. None of them, in my opinion, those were just things that kind of were dumb, but this just blatantly crosses the line, if that's the case.
Now, let's go on the other side. Let's say you wake up Friday morning and you turn on your system, and it is so much not a Kojima game. It's a horror version of Firewatch.
I hope to God that this man has security. And I just want him to just disappear from the internet for like 6 months. Please, if that is the case, be gentle with this man. Because I get that there are going to be people saying, well, he shouldn't have been leaning into it. And yes, he should not have been leaning into it. I get that. But
But he's suddenly popular.
No one saw how this was going to blow up. And that's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, okay, maybe, like, for example, the whole SNL thing, like, it starts with an S and ends with an L. People are like, "What? How do you know that your game isn't like referencing Silent Hill?" It's like, motherfucker, I didn't even think about that until someone pointed it out.
Yeah,
I was just like, "Oh, okay, cool," and went on. And I actually thought it was Survival or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought originally. Who knows? We'll see.
This is gonna be.
And what's funny is we'll potentially see on Friday, unless it gets pushed again, unless we get more cryptic bullshit until then.
Let us know what you guys think about all of this blow. If this is a hoax, if
desperately hope that we have an answer one way or another before next show.
God help this man if it's fake. God help this man if it is not a hoax.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at the chat here real quick. Let's see. Someone chat saying, I don't know if all the dates and times fits, but I've heard a theory that they could be fitting that whoever, either Sony Kojima Productions, bought Blue Box to make what they're doing now when PT was a thing. But then the PT thing failed and they kept Blue Box as a shell company, but to me that seems like too much. They should have went with the Kojima photo with the Turkish mustache, though. I've seen that going around.
Oh, that's funny.
That is something that I've also heard too, because the times do
So
kind of sync up.
PT came out in 2014.
Yes.
And Blue Box had a Kickstarter for their own
2015.
video game in 2015, which would have been past the cancellation date.
Yeah. So that means that the times sync up. Because this would have been after PT.
So then they had a Kickstarter for a game that didn't go anywhere with an indie studio? Because how long was Kojima away from a studio?
I don't know. I need to do a deep dive on it. On the surface level, I'm not saying anything that rules out that theory. I'm not saying I subscribe to it. But on a surface level, without doing a deep dive into like busting out the Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia wire corkboard thing, at the moment I haven't seen anything that's ruled that out. I haven't seen anything that's confirmed it either. Let's beef out here. David.
Yeah.
Let's put this aside for right now. I know that this topic bothers you, but I can promise you we are going to revisit this as soon as next week.
I'm sure we will. I just desperately hope that we know one way or the other.
I want an answer one way or another.
I hope we're just sitting here going, oh man, that new Kojima game looks rad as shit. I know it's not Silent Hill, but damn, am I excited for it.
I will end with this. If this is not a Kojima hoax, it is grossly irresponsible of Sony to let it continue. Grossly irresponsible. Speaking of grossly responsible, David, why don't you take this next story?
Oh, man.
Because this would have been top story if it wasn't for the Kojima shit.
The hits just keep coming. This story from Forbes, warning, Marvel's Avengers, which everyone's playing, is showing your IP address on screen.
I can't even wrap my head around how something like this passes quality asserts.
Fuck up this badly. Okay, a patch hit for Marvel's Avengers, that game that has a grand total of like 400 players on Steam last time I checked. That shows your gamer tag, the date and time, some other numbers, and most significantly, your IP address on screen as a string of floating text that bounces from location to location as you play. Crystal Dynamics has already commented on this, but only said it's a string of text with no mention of the IP addresses, even though, if you can read, it's clearly what it is.
Yeah, and by the way, not mentioning that's an IP address, not letting people know the at the time of when I wrote this note, not telling people it's your IP address is also one of the most irresponsible fucking things I've ever seen a company do. You need to let people know, hey, this is some serious shit, because if they have your IP address, they can do horrible shit to you.
Yeah, so basically, if you have Marvel's Avengers and you're a streamer of any sort, do not even boot the game up.
All 10 of you.
Because from reports, the IP address shows up on screen as soon as you're in the main menu. You don't have to be in the game. And yeah, like you mentioned, if your IP address becomes public, then you kind of open yourself up to, DDoS attacks or all kinds of shit. And no, I don't think anyone is streaming Marvel's Avengers. But if you're one of the 3 people that play that game and you were thinking about doing that this weekend, I would hold off. It's just more a story about just neglect.
This is one of those things that I'm shocked they didn't yank the servers down immediately on it.
Yeah, how does this stay up for longer than 20 minutes?
Yeah, how is this not instantly fixed? How is there not a massive apology from Crystal Dynamics going, we fucked up?
Because no one was playing it, and no one noticed.
Well, that's part of it. What happens is that this goes out, and some social media intern sees it and goes, oh, no, don't worry, we're working on it. And let me see if Crystal Dynamics responded yet, but they kind of went media sign after this. I get the distinct feeling some lawyer somewhere saw that and went, what the fuck are you doing? Everyone shut the fuck up right now. This could be a potential problem. I want to take a look at on Twitter on what not Anthem, Avengers.
I don't believe this is exclusive to the PC version, right? Isn't this everywhere?
Paul Tassie's from Forbes article specifically says gamer tag. That's an Xbox thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this will, of course, be posted. The link to the story will be posted down below as well. Crystal Dynamics. Let's see what they have to say.
At 10:20, they had a tweet. We are currently testing a solution to the issue of personal information, including the player's IP address and username, be displayed on screen, and plan to deploy a hotfix tomorrow around 8 a.m. Is the most recent thing I see.
It still feels like they're not taking this as seriously as it actually is.
Yeah.
David,
but it is also
that's bad.
Problem.
So don't stream Marvel Avengers to the 2 of you out there that actually still stream that game. Let's see. Isn't that a Mike No Play in chat says? Isn't that a someone shut the? Isn't that
no,
a
hold on.
someone?
Try again. You got to read this correctly because it's a great fucking message.
That isn't a.
Isn't.
Yeah, sorry, I was misreading that. That isn't a someone shut the server. That is a someone kill the server even with a baseball bat. Yeah, this strikes me as one of those things that open your asses up to a lawsuit, and a big one at that.
We got to get this shit fixed immediately. Like
I'm
pull the plug. You don't need a press release. You just got to fix it.
I'm shocked.
And then release everything later.
We got a couple more stories I want to get through here, David. This next one is a lot of wishful thinking on me, but I think it has enough. I've been predicting this for years, and my own scuttlebutt is kind of telling me this as well, which is why I was kind of cheating when I predicted over the E3 thing. This is via Video Game Chronicle. EA will reportedly announce an established IP revival next month, and that established IP is rumored to be Dead Space. To the article.
Oh boy.
That's at least according to the GamesBeat journalist Jeff Grubb, who commented in a video stream on Friday that an unannounced EA title he previously discussed would be shown publicly for the first time at a July 22nd event. That title, by the way, he keeps discussing, he hasn't said its name, but it is rumored to be Dead Space because he keeps saying things like the following. We're going to see it if we're not dead first. And he keeps mentioning like dead, or there's plenty of space for the game to fit in here and everything like that. He keeps like saying things. It's that thing where he's teasing something. He's saying something without
He's being
saying
cheeky, but he's not being Kojima levels cheeky.
Yeah.
This is fine. You could do this.
Yeah.
This is called a tease, everyone.
This is what EA Motive is working on. This was, I believe, what Jade Raymond was part of before she left to go off to join whatever Sony's new studio is, that Haven, that hasn't done anything yet. I think that's what Jade Raymond went to do. I have mixed feelings about EA Motive, but if you were to give it to a team, I guess that's one of the few that you can actually give it to that kind of just works from game to game to game.
Well, I know you'd be excited for another Dead Space.
I'm looking forward to another Dead Space. This would be a reboot from what I hear. This would not be a sequel, which also tracks with the way the third one ended, especially if you saw the end of the DLC to the third one. There is no way they can continue where that left off so many years after that game ended. In fact, they kind of painted themselves in the corner, because where do you go with the way that ends? I mean, you're just kind of fucked at that point. Hey man, I'm still counting on a Saints Row 5, and we saw the end of that game. Yeah, but no. Saints Row Get Out of Hell had the ending where they do the dark, gritty reboot, and that gave us that actually gave us Agents of Brimstone, or where the hell that thing
Agents of Mayhem.
Agents of Mayhem, yeah. So they can just sign. You know what they could have done? While on the topic of Saints Row 5, you know what could be the perfect Saints Row 5 thing? Is that you see the ending of 4 or the world blow up in 4, and then the main character just wakes up and pulls like a Dallas, where the entire game was just a dream.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
And don't tell me that wouldn't be some Saints Row shit.
Yeah, no, I'd still buy it. I'd play it. I wouldn't have any issues with that.
Let's see. Let's take a look right here. Chat's still talking about the Kojima thing, man. I don't think we need to go back and address that anymore.
No, I'm sorry. At this point, is it even a teaser anymore if you don't found a shell company and keep it cold for 6 years and then start leaving breadcrumbs around?
No, I think the idea, it makes sense, because once you buy something, let's, god damn it. I don't want to go back to this. Let's move on.
No, it's fine. That's really funny. All right, okay. The next story is from Game Rant, and hey, guess what? There might be another PlayStation experience. Supposedly could be making a comeback in 2021. Very exciting, because
I think you and I are both on agreement that PSX, we got to see it one year, and that was like the best convention we ever went to.
Yeah. I've been to one PSX, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They had a great swag bag. They had really good panels. It was super well organized. You could sign up for demos through an app on your phone. It was cool.
It ran very well.
Yes. It was remarkably organized, considering I think we went to like the first one or the second one.
It was the second one. Yeah, it was the last one they held in San Francisco.
Cool. Anyway, so a new trademark has been filed by the company that seems to suggest that a new PlayStation Experience event is going to be held in the near future. This patent was discovered by Gaming Route, and it suggests that a new PlayStation Experience is on the horizon. While Sony refiling the trademark does not guarantee an event, as it could just be saving the title for later use, it does line up with rumors of an upcoming show. With gamers having hopes for a summer state of play that is on the same level as something like the PS5 Showcase, Sony using the special name for this big event would make sense. Given how popular PlayStation Experience used to be, bringing back the name could serve as a great way to build up hype. The most recent PlayStation Experience was in 2017, as the 2018 PSX was canceled by Sony. So it has been a minute since
David,
they've had their own expo.
There's no way this is a con. This is going to be just what they call their series of videos coming out. This is one of those things where
they're not gonna do the state of play. They're not gonna do a direct. It's the PlayStation Experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe they'll incorporate some demos and stuff into there. Why not?
Maybe. I mean, you can have that shit live and ready to go when the video goes up and just hit the button and pop them on there. That would. I remember a time, I think this was when the PlayStation 3 was coming out, when Sony said every game will have a demo. I mean, they clearly didn't stick to that, but that's been part of their marketing in the past, so I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of had something like that. I think it was either PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4. It was one of those two systems.
Ooh, yeah.
God damn, I forgot about that console. Yeah, this is just... I am 100% convinced that this is not a con. This is just going to be what they call their Nintendo Direct, because they have to give it some kind of official name, or otherwise people are going to call it the PlayStation Direct, which Sony doesn't want, because that means Nintendo controls their marketing.
Right.
Which is why you don't have PlayStation Live and Xbox Live. You have PlayStation Now and Xbox Live. You don't. You want to control your branding, and PlayStation Experience would be an excellent name for these things, and they already have that trademark. So there you go.
They already got a logo for it. They got everything. So might as well.
Last bit of news, David, and this falls into one of the reoccurring topics that I like to bring up over and over on the show as a warning.
We call this Steven's Tencent watch.
We call this Steven's jingoistic paranoia about communists watch is what this is.
Whatever, man. It's just capitalism working as intended.
Tencent, that Chinese company that we all love and know and love, is taking a majority stake in Germany's YAGER. This happened today. Tencent influence grows by buying a majority stake in German developer YAGER. These are the guys that made Spec Ops The Line and Dreadnought.
They are also working on the Cycle, if anyone's paying attention.
I don't know what the Cycle is, so I didn't bother to put that in there.
Cycle is a pretty stylish-looking Battle Royale game.
Okay, that would be why I didn't know what it is, because Battle Royale and I do not see eye to eye. The reason why this isn't necessarily as getting the fanfare that I would normally do whenever Tencent acquires a company is that they already had a minority stake in the company, and we've already announced that Jaeger was being slightly gobbled up by Tencent. Well, now they have a majority stake in it. Not a 100% stake. It's not like Riot Games that's 100% owned by Tencent, but they have enough.
They don't own it. They just own most of it.
Yeah. You are right to fear Tencent, David. But this is
man.
What was that?
Whatever, man.
This is one of those conversations that when they finally do buy or invest in another developer, we can get deeper into, because I've already exhausted my rage supply and my emotional reservoirs going over feeling bad for Hasan Kahraman, or I'm sorry, I keep mispronouncing his last name. Forgive me on that. So I am not going to go on the rant that I normally do about Tencent, other than say, do your own research, look into this company, and realize how much of the industry they directly control. And it is
and companies buy other companies. Terrifying. That's what happens.
David?
Yes.
A lot of this stuff that we're talking about here, Dead Space, Abandoned, we're not going to know details on for at least a couple days, if not a couple weeks.
I was going to say, at least until Friday.
In the meantime, what else can I focus on that I can find something to bitch about? What games are there out there that I can complain about?
I have one just for you, my friend. I think you're looking for some new releases.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to
the first one on the list, I'm leaving up front because I usually like to end with a banger, and this is not one. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, the quote-unquote reboot of the much-beloved Dark Alliance games.
Man, I was looking forward to this, too. Are you going to tell me it sucks?
Released yesterday on the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC. In addition to that, it was a day one Game Pass title. And as you know, I don't buy video games unless they come to me directly. So yes, I did in fact preload and play Dark Alliance.
And it was just as good as the PlayStation 2 ones, right?
It is one of the worst video games I have played in recent memory.
Yeah, that tracks. That tracks of what I've been hearing.
Is fucking awful. And I am decimated because I love Dark Alliance 1 and 2.
The Snowblind Studios games were amazing, and because I also like to include a Champions of Norath into those games.
Yeah, dude. I'll throw Return to Arms in. I love those games. This is not that. This is a third-person action-adventure set in a D&D universe. It's got 4 characters and static classes, which, you know, is a lot like the old Dark Alliance titles. It's kind of story-driven. It's got real-time combat. It's got co-op, although right now it only has online. No local co-op, which, man, did you ever even hear of Dark Alliance? Because
yeah, you fucked that up.
I could play that with 4 people in my living room, and it was amazing. And the biggest issues I had, besides the horribly sluggish controls, if you do try and play this game, I repeat, do not play this video game with mouse and keyboard. Plug in a controller or don't play it at all. I will tell you that right now.
You know my biggest problem with this so much? Now, I haven't actually played this game, but I've seen a lot of gameplay on it. The thing that caught my eyes, I should say ears actually, was just how god-awful the sound effects are in this game.
And, yeah, it's pretty bad. There's also the fact that the AI is completely brain dead. You can melee attack goblins, but if you're outside of their threat range, they'll just stand there looking at the wall. Or not melee, but you can range attack them. And if you're not in their little aggro range, they just don't do anything. They don't react to you.
Wow.
Even if you run directly into a group of enemies, they don't respond instantly. They'll just kind of stare at you and say whatever their line is, and then they'll start doing stuff. The default difficulty is brain dead easy. If you turn it up 1 notch, you get killed in 2 hits, and everything becomes a sponge. The combat is fine, I guess. And I was really hopeful that this could be fun if I had more people to play with, right? Maybe I'm just being jaded. Maybe I'm just an asshole.
Maybe it'll be blast in a group. There are some games that suck on their own but are fun in a group.
Please tell me you remember one of the greatest parts about Dark Alliance in that it was very much like Diablo in that you fight to get loot. Yeah. And then, you know, after you guys clear a room, everyone pauses and checks their loot and equips new gear. You can't do that in this video game because there is no inventory screen. If you hit start, it brings up a list of, like, key terms. The only way to change equipment is back at the hub world, which, by the way, you spawn in, and it gives you 0 fucking direction on where to go at the start of the game. And, yeah.
So you don't get to try out that new piece of gear that you just found, unless you go back to the hub world.
Correct. And even then, it feels like it's dropping gear at the level you would expect from a Diablo or the old Dark Alliance games, where I'm picking up a bunch of shit, some of it being the same kind of shit, and I still can't see until I get back to the hub. What's the point? Like, give me a really good piece of gear at the end of the level if I have to wait until the end of the level to equip it.
Yeah, that tracks with everything else that I've been hearing about this game.
So it takes, like, the loot mechanics of Vermintide, but the drops of, like, Diablo-style game, and it's a bummer.
That sucks. That sucks, dear. I am so disappointed to hear that.
I also got a little bored because I played it for about 2 hours last night, and I decided just to see if I could beat a level without attacking anything. And I just ran past all the enemy spawns.
How'd that go for you?
Until I got to an elevator, and then I hit the button for the elevator. Nothing followed me, by the way. I was still going.
All right.
Ran all the way till I had an objective, broke the objective, kept running. Until I had to go through another door, went through the door.
Okay.
Until I got to the next objective, broke that objective, kept running. Until I got to a door that was closed and I had to kill some enemies. But I had just sprinted through.
And not having to stop to fight anything. That's a goddamn shame. I was worried about this game when I just suddenly all media stopped on it like about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like you weren't getting any previews, you weren't getting any early coverage or anything like that, which is usually a sign, because it's not like the PR team doesn't know that there's problems with something. So when they suddenly stop talking about it, that's bad.
Yep. One of our other often mentioned mottos is if you've got good news, you're shouting it from the rooftops. If it's bad, you have nothing to say.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so yeah, that's
game's out this week.
Dark Alliance. Probably don't buy that one. What else we got?
If you do not believe me, which please, I'm wrong almost all the time. If you absolutely flippin' love D&D, and you have a group of 3 other people and you really want to play this game, and you all already have Game Pass, go ahead and give it a shot. But in my recommendation, I would not spend $60 on this video.
That is a goddamn shame. I hate that.
Yes. Also out this week, a bunch of games that I'm going to talk way less about. Ender Lily's Quietus of the Nights hits Switch and PC. I kind of wish I'd played this instead. This is a 2D... You're going to hate it already. 2D Metroidvania Souls-like.
I like those 3 things on their own. But once again, to go back what we say, once you start just throwing shit together, I immediately turn out. I feel like you're trying to sell me a car that's broken.
But hear me out. A dark fantasy 2D action RPG about unraveling the mysteries of the destroyed kingdom that, looking at the game, gives me serious Salt and Sanctuary vibes.
I did look at the game. It does look cool.
And I think it looks like a lot of fun. So, I know you get mad at descriptors, but take a look. Come on. This could be good. Phantom Abyss hits early access this week on PC. This looks really kind of cool. I'm going to be a dick. Action-adventure roguelike Souls-like. A massive asynchronous multiplayer game that casts players into procedurally generated temples and tasks them with retrieving the sacred relics hidden within deadly chambers. So, it's Legends of the Hidden Temple, except for you die in horrible, horrible deaths, and while you're on your run, you will see constant phantoms of other actual players who also failed their run.
I saw a little bit of this. This is beyond my ability. I can tell you that right now. It's too fast-paced for me to enjoy.
Yeah, looks pretty cool, though, if you're into that kind of thing. I think it could be fun, and I'm just being a dick, but I seriously, when I saw the phantoms, I thought Souls immediately. Because it's watching somebody else die. And that's just such a Dark Souls thing to me.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? Olympic Games Tokyo 2020? Wait, is it 2020? But it's 2021. Weird. The official video game for the Olympic Games Tokyo that didn't happen last year.
Yeah, because it got delayed 1 year. I guess they might still be calling it 2020, so they do it every 4 years.
Why not?
I guess.
PS4,
I never actually
Xbox,
thought
Switch,
about that.
PC. This is a 3D party, sportsy, arcadey game. It leans way heavier into arcade than I would expect from something that says it's the official video game of the Olympic Games. Because, okay, yes, it's a kind of an arcade game where you're playing various events in the Olympic sports, but you can play as Sonic for some reason, or you can dress your character up as a spaceman, or it's got big head mode, and I don't know.
You know, Sonic and the Olympics have had this weird relationship for way too long.
It looks like a mashup of the Olympic Games and the Sonic Olympic Games, but it's being called the official video game. So I don't know. All I know is that it only supports up to 2 players locally, and this looks like a fantastic party game, and the second player doesn't even get to make their own account. They're just playing as like a guest, so that's kind of a bummer. Out of Line, it's PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. This is a 2D, hand-drawn, very pretty puzzle platformer. A unique adventure game filled with beautiful puzzles, all hand-drawn in an original 2D style. Out of Line follows the adventures of San on the quest to escape the factory that was once home. This looks pretty neat if you're into, adventure puzzle platformers. Fallen Knight hits PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, PC. This is a side-scrolling 2D platformer where you're playing as an elite knight and battling your way through action-packed levels with intense sword-fighting game. In this neoclassic side-scrolling action platformer, I am going to coin a new term, and I'm going to call this a Mega Man Zero-like.
All right. That actually kind of sounds interesting to me.
Right? Because you know what Mega Man Zero plays like compared to a regular Mega Man game, and I'm not saying it's a Metroidvania, I'm saying that it looks like a new Zero game, and those games are tight, so take a look at Fallen Knight. Alex Kidd in a Miracle World DX hits the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Switch, and PC. This here is a reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it, of Alex Kidd from 1986. This is an old-ass video game franchise, and you're reliving a platforming classic alongside new modes, levels, and features. It has all levels from the original title with new animations, improvements, all kinds of fun stuff, and it has a very cool nostalgia mode that you can turn on so you can get your 8-bit on if you feel the need. Legends of Mana Remastered looks fucking amazing and hits PlayStation, Switch, PC this week. I'm actually pretty excited for this. Legend of Mana is a damn good video game, in my opinion, and this HD remaster, I think, looks pretty good as far as all the Square remakes and remasters have been. Like, I'm thinking of all the Final Fantasy ones that we got that look like mobile games. Mm-hmm. This looks much better than that.
This looks like a good remaster.
Yes, and it's $30, so I'm already excited about that. But if you never heard Legend of Mana, I mean, you should. It's got a colorful cast of characters. You use a unique land make system to build the world map and square off against fearsome monsters in the vibrant world of Fall DL. And it's, I don't know, turn-based. It's kind of tacticsy. I don't know, dude. Legend of Mana's tight. You should play it. Scarlet Nexus hits the PlayStations, Xbox, and PC. This is a Bandai Namco action RPG that's sci-fi that give me some serious Code Vein vibes.
I kind of want to play this because I like the development team that worked on this. They have some experience in some of the Tales games that are out there. And I think
it definitely has that Bandai Namco like anime aesthetic.
Yeah, I think this will be a nice appetizer before Tales of Arise later this year, which I'm really looking forward to.
There you go. So you choose between two different elite psionics, each armed with a talent in psychokinesis and their own reason to fight. Complete both of their stories to unlock all the mysteries of a brain punk future caught between technology and psychic abilities. Brain punk.
Yeah, I don't like that. What, hold on. Okay, before we get to the last one, what's the worst name for an aesthetic? Brain punk or whale punk, which is what Dishonored styled itself as?
Dishonored called itself a whale punk?
Yes. I've
somehow managed to dislike that franchise even more. Wow. That's exciting. I fucking hate Dishonored.
I'm upset that you hate Dishonored. That game's amazing.
No, that game sucks.
I shouldn't say amazing. It's good.
Yeah, yeah, you shouldn't say it's amazing, because it's not. I'll fight you on that one.
Really,
you can fight me on saying it sucks, because that is me being kind of a dick, but it's not the best video game.
No, it's not the best video game ever. That game really wants to be like Thief, but it doesn't quite get there. But
and that's my problem with it.
Oh, because it's not Thief?
No, it's not as good as a stealth game as it thinks it is.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Last on my list, Mario Golf Super Rush. Hit Switch. If you're watching the Nintendo Direct and the E3 coverage, you already know what this is. But look at that. It's a new Mario Golf. I guarantee this game will be fun for a whole bunch of people and of all ages, because it's Mario Golf. You can play with 4 players locally or online and golf with friends from the Super Mario universe. Mario, Peach, Yoshi, Wario, Bowser, whoever you think of. Modes range from standard golf to energetic speed golf and an exciting golf adventure mode. Simple motion or button controls make it easy for both new players and seasoned pros to dive and putt. And, you've got whatever super moves and spins and, it's a golf game, but it's Mario themed and it's fun.
There's typically no such bad thing as a bad Mario game. And I say typically now because I know some asshole's going to be like, well, what about Mario is missing or something like that. So get the fuck out of here with that shit.
What's wrong with Mario is missing?
Traditionally, there is no such thing as a bad Mario game.
Especially at this point.
Yeah. They're out there, but it's usually good bet.
That's all I got, man. That's my whole list.
David, that does it for new releases, which means that's also the end of the show as well. This has been GamePoints episode 269, and thank you all for showing up. We do stream the show live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here at twitch.tv/GamePoints, so feel free to join in the conversation. If you can't join us live, though, you can always watch old shows over at YouTube or the Discord, the link of which is provided down below. Notes to the show links to the show of the stories that were used will also be provided there as well, so you can read up on what we talked about yourself and come to your own conclusions. You can follow the show over at Twitter at GamePointsPC, myself, Stephen Brown, at CapitalistPig21, and David there at PalStrife_story. And if you liked what you saw here, you know what streamers want. Follows and notifications turned on, bits, subs, likes, all that good stuff. Thank you all for showing up. We'll be back next week, hopefully on some more cheery topics, but I am really not wanting to find that I don't want to read the headline, game developer beheaded.
Oh,
because of internet mob.
Man, I can't even. You shouldn't even put that out in the world.
I'm gonna feel like shit. I'm gonna feel like shit if something actually happens to him after saying that.
No, everything's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. Whatever that project is, it's gonna do fantastic, and everyone's gonna love it.
We'll find out. But anyways, thank you all for showing up. Stay safe, take care, and until next time, we'll be seeing you.